Alright, hello fun and welcome back to my Fallout 4 Mod Spotlight series, where today we are having a look at the 32 machine pistol mod, which is being made by user Degenerate Dak. And what this glorious little piece of work looks to add into the game is a brand new machine pistol for you to enjoy based off of the real world VZ61 Skorpion. And I have been having a whole lot of fun with this mod because hey, who doesn't love a good machine pistol? And I gotta admit, the Skorpion has always been one of those kind of personal faves of mine in the real world, so fun to play around with one here in the Commonwealth. So let's jump on over this way and have a look at what exactly we are getting with the 32 machine pistol, which in its most basic and standard form will deal just 11 damage using a 32 round with a firing rate of 127, range of 107, accuracy of 62 for a pretty minimal weight of 5.3. And as you can see, it is a pretty good looking weapon here, certainly does look the part for a VZ Skorpion, and I love everything about it. Lots of great details all over the thing, which is very well put together, very well made, and just overall a nice looking gun. I very much do enjoy it, and as you can see here, with a quite a large selection of different modifications for you to add on to this thing to make it suit more of your particular playstyle and build. Now, there's nothing too crazy in here, but you've got plenty of options to make this a pretty decent little gun. Now, as for how you get your hands on one of these things, well, it's really easy, as you'll find them on pretty much everything. But first, there is a requirement that I almost forgot to mention, and that is, of course, the munitions mod. It does need it for the 32 caliber round. There is actually a vanilla version of the mod that you can download instead, but I mean, come on here, it's just the 32 machine pistol. You need that 32 round. So once you've got that, you'll start finding these in the world at level 4 on Minutemen, Raiders, Triggermen, Gunners, Legendaries, and in stores, which is why I said earlier, it's basically found on everyone. If they're in the Commonwealth, they might have one of these machine pistols on them. And there is also one unique that can be found out in the world, and specifically it's found at a new mini dungeon that was added by the mod over near Green Tech Genetics, which is kinda nifty. Now, once you do have one of these in hand, let's head on over to the weapon workbench and take a look here, starting with receivers, where we don't got a whole lot of options here, but it's the pretty typical fare from standard to rapid on up to powerful, which is the most powerful base level of damage this thing is going to do, as it is very much an early game gun. Again, starting at level 4, yeah, it's not going to be doing the most damage in the world, but of course with various perks, you'll be able to up that a little bit more. Now then, the barrel category, we've got a snub, short-ported, long, and long-ported barrel. We then have in these stocks either a nothing, a folded, a wire, makeshift, full, marksman, and recoil compensating. Yeah, I gotta admit, I think the full stock is my personal favorite there, because you know me, I love a gun that's made of both steel and wood. It's good times. Now in the magazine category, we've got a small, medium, and large magazines with quick eject variants, but if you want a lot of ammunition, there's also a drum, so you can just keep on firing for a while and just throw a ton of 32 rounds downrange. Now then in sights, we've got a standard, glow, micro, dot, hollow, and reflex, a normal dot size hollow and reflex scopes, a laser sight, and a short scope. Now that in muzzles, we've got either a nothing, a bayonet, flash hider, compensator, muzzle booster or brake, makeshift suppressor, and a proper suppressor there. In accessories, we either have nothing, a flashlight, recon laser, or VATS targeting module if you've got a little bit of extra science kicking about. And then finally, in the grip category, we either have the makeshift, the standard, the taped, the comfort, and the light grip. Again, all good options, great modifications, nothing too crazy as mentioned before, but enough to make the gun more usable and more powerful to really last you, I'd say, into the mid-game. You're still never going to get a ton of damage out of this thing, but it's still just a fun gun to play around with. So let's take a look at it in action and grab my two modified versions over here. And, of course, start with the standard. Get on our firing line here with the standard 10-round magazine, which doesn't last you long with this particular weapon, of course. And they're all gone. Well, yeah, it's definitely a fast-firing machine pistol, so definitely a gun that you're going to want a larger magazine for. Honestly, with this weapon, if you're not using the drum magazine, I think you're doing it wrong, because it's just such a rapid-firing gun to just throw a ton of lead downrange at your enemies. And is overall just a nice little weapon. I like it. So let's take a look at our modified versions, starting here with, yeah, we'll go with the suppressed one here first, which, again, only doing that 17 max damage, and with the large magazine giving you 30, yeah, it's actually not that bad, but still, we're going to chew through those rounds real quick. And they're all gone. But with the suppressed sound, very good on there. You can just, you know, throw a lot of 32 rounds down range quietly, or at least, you know, not quite as noisily. Good times. Love it. And then, of course, finally, we've got the full drum magazine on this recoil compensating version there. Does make for quite the neat little submachine gun, and yeah, just a very fun weapon to play with. I've been enjoying myself most with this one because, again, that drum magazine that you get on this thing with 75 rounds, it's just magnificent. And with a compensator really helping compensate the kick of this weapon, you can put all 75 of those rounds into someone very, very easily. That's a very easy to control weapon, which is perfect for someone like me who's not usually the best shot in a game. And there we go, another 75 rounds downrange. Magnificent. Oh, it's good times indeed. So let's take a look at this thing in practice, and against, of course, our usual Deathclaw, which I'm just now realizing I forgot to copy the the code for, so give me a quick second to tab out to my notepad and copy that for a moment. And there we go, nice and copied. I knew I forgot something before starting this episode. There we are. We can now play with our usual Deathclaw friend. And 75 rounds of 32, let's see how it does against a Deathclaw. You know, not too bad so far, not too bad. 75 rounds, and I'd say a little bit more than a third of his health gone. Not too shabby in the slightest. There we are. I might even risk coming down here for the last bit. Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die, aren't I? No, we're good, we're good, we're good. He's down. Yes! 3 drums. 75 rounds each, and we were able to take out a Deathclaw. Yeah, this is just a fun, neat little weapon. I very much have enjoyed my time with it because it's just a fun little gun, and always great to have other real-world historic weapons being added into the game, and, you know, something a bit more interesting than just your normal rifles or shotguns. Having an actual machine pistol, I think, is pretty cool. And it being a more early game weapon, I also think adds a little bit more to it because so many of the guns that we do look at are a bit more mid to late game, so having a nice new early game gun to liven things up is quite nice to see. So if you'd like to have a look at this mod for yourself, which I'd certainly recommend you go and do, you can have a look at the link in the description as per usual. Well, that, my friends, is going to be it for this one today. Hopefully you all have enjoyed. You do come back for whatever mod we look at next. But until then, thank you for watching, and as always, we'll have a good one.